I studied the content of more than 250 successful clothing brands and found 11 specific posts that'll blow up your Instagram page. And the best part is that any brand can post this at any size, no matter what niche. So in today's video, I'm going to show you each and every one of these content ideas, why they work so well for clothing brands, and how to recreate it with a $0 budget for your own brand. But first, how and where do you find these viral content ideas? Because if you're anything like the average person using Instagram, you have a number of different interests and people that you follow, some of which don't relate to your clothing brand. And this makes it really hard when you're trying to get inspiration, but instead get distracted, probably with memes like this. Well, I bet you weren't expecting that less than necessary cutaway. But the point is, posting content just to see what sticks isn't an option anymore because it doesn't work. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video right now, and tell me I'm wrong. But there's a really easy way to save a bunch of time and start creating content that actually grows your brand, and it's by creating a dummy account. But what is that? Well, to start, it's not one of these. It's actually just a second Instagram account you set up purely for research and inspiration. It's not for posting or friends. Its whole job is to follow accounts, hashtags, and trends that relate specifically to your brand identity, so your feed becomes a non-stop scroll of ideas you can adapt for your own content. So for example, if you're a skate brand looking for inspiration, your dummy account would only serve you content from skateboarding influencers and other skateboard brands. It's like a marketing ideas team in your pocket. And the way that you make one is actually really simple. First, you're going to set up an entirely new Instagram account and follow none of your friends, not even your own personal or brand accounts. And now you're going to tell the algorithm what you want to see by only interacting with content that relates to your brand niche. So find 5 influencers in your space, hit follow, and look through their content liking relevant posts. Then Instagram search some keywords that relate and interact with some of that content too. And by the time you've come back to the home feed and refresh, it'll be totally transformed with content that you actually can start creating today. But here's the thing, the hardest part is not finding content that works. It's personalizing it for your own brand. And so now I'm going to walk you through each piece of content that I've found and the exact framework to make it your own. Meaning that by the end of this video, you're not only going to have 11 pieces of content you can actually just post today, but also the frameworks to do this hundreds more times on your own. Starting with post number 1, and it's called a brand manifesto post. What it is a short video where you explain the brand message to your followers. So what's the purpose of your brand beyond just selling products? Or what's the meaning behind the designs you share with the world? For the brand that I'm about to show you, this video was one of the highest performing of all time, and so many people left comments saying things like, "Great stuff, mate. Honest and relatable clothing brand. God bless."
Hi, I'm Pat. This is my mate Tex, and we started a clothing brand to pay homage to your home away from home.
Place pays tribute to our home away from home and represents to me all the best parts of my upbringing in Portland. See, my mum Rosie created a sanctuary in her home where the door was always open for me, Tex, and all of our friends. Every good part of our adolescence was shaped in Rosie's place, and we wanted to create a brand that reminds you of your very own special place.
So in this video, the brand makes 2 things crystal clear. First, the brand message. So it's about a home away from home. And the second thing is why the message matters. And this reason was because Rosie, their mum, was someone that made everyone feel welcome. And you can structure your own brand manifesto post in the same way. But the truth is, coming up with that brand message can be really hard. So now I'm just going to share with you the top question I ask my clients that help them understand their brand message pretty well every single time. And it's this: if your clothes were a super suit, what power would they give the wearer? And to make this really clear, I'll use the example of the brand from before Rosie's place. When customers put on their garments, they're given the power of hospitality, friendship, and being more outgoing and welcoming than the average person. And it's really that simple. Don't overcomplicate it by trying to think of superhuman abilities. It's more about what kind of person that your customers might become. And then you can just put your answers into a sentence like, our message is to inspire people to X, and fill in the blank with whatever that superhero transformation is. But if you do get really stuck, I work one-on-one with clothing brands to help them uncover their brand identity and turn it into content. So if that interests you, there is a link below to apply to work with me. If it's not for you, no stress. Enjoy my free content because I've got another 10 content ideas for you right now. The next one being the one-shot short film. So as you already know, creating fashion films are a great way to spark curiosity and build hype around your product with the power of storytelling. But the issue is most of them are made on stupidly high budgets that just aren't viable for the average brand. But Mertra got creative and made a film on a small budget that still went crazy viral with nearly 600,000 views.
Oh look, there he is, let's get him.
Yeah, quick, watch this.
Oh, let's go.
The crazy thing is that this is so simple that the most editing you'll have to do is maybe some color grading, but there isn't a single cut in the whole thing and it makes it wildly easy for every brand. But why does a video like this work so well? Well, you may remember there was a time when TikTok influencers would start a video by putting their phone down. I suppose it was to show some sort of authenticity. And there's something relatable about footage that says there's no set here, it's just me and my camera. And so I believe this one-shot short film works for the same kind of reason. There's something about shaky iPhone footage that has me watching from the edge of my seat, wondering what's about to happen. It all feels so real and authentic, not like I'm about to get some staged performance. But what do you make your one-shot short film about? Just imagine a group of friends hanging out together, all of which identify with your community. Figure out what kind of things they might do together and film that. For the brand Mertra, this was playing pranks on people passing by, and I suppose they're trying to resonate with a younger male audience with something like this. But for your community, they might film each other on a Saturday morning long run, or maybe a video at the skate park where they're doing a trick. Whatever it is, film it on an iPhone, put the subject in your clothing products, and do some light color grading to make it look professional. But to be honest, that doesn't even really matter because it's supposed to look authentic anyway. Post number 3, the inspiring quote. When most brands figure out their brand message and start posting about it, they'll often default to quote style posts that look something like this. But I'm not a fan. So check out how this very successful mental health brand has elevated the inspiring quote post beyond text. So the quote says, "You're not alone," but below the sign is a group of people that are a part of the community wearing the product. And the craziest part is that you can create content like this with AI, and I think this brand has as well, to be honest. In fact, let's try and make one of these ourselves right now inside of a program called Sora, which is by the same company that makes ChatGPT, except it's specifically for images. So I'm gonna write a prompt like this. Make a photorealistic candid scene of a small group of young adults, mixed genders, ages 18 to 24, looking like university students, casually sitting together at a cafe on a bright morning. They are seated just outside the cafe, engaged in natural conversation and laughter, not posing for the camera. And I'm also going to include the images of my t-shirt so that Sora gets that accurately. So I'm going to click enter, and before I show you the results, most people I speak to will use ChatGPT or Sora and complain about the results. But when I see the prompt that they use, it all makes sense. So use this input for reference for how much detail to include. And now let's see what it's given us. And oh my goodness, like come on. It appears like there's a few errors on the graphic on the t-shirt, but that's nothing that can't be fixed really. And so these are near usable to be ready to post. Maybe a few minor changes, but look guys, there are officially zero excuses. Post 4, motivational carousel. So this one takes a classic motivational quote even a step further, where brands are actively engaging their communities through the content. You might have seen posts like this where they have a motivational text on screen with an image. Well, one of my clients took this idea, but instead of using generic Pinterest images, he got real people in the community to submit photos of them wearing the products. So take a look, it looks pretty good. And so the key here is not to write a post and find images, but receive the community images first, then write your quote around it. That way, if you're like my client who is a martial arts brand and received an image like this, you can make a scoreboard graphic saying you versus you. But if you're stuck stuck on how to get content made by your community, there's a really simple and cheap way to get started. You could send out what's called a PR package, which are usually exclusive for influencers, but I'd just give them to my friends. And so this is where you send out your product for free to different people in your community and ask that they use it to make content. So give them a few examples of the type of content you're looking for and instructions for where to send it. And if you've got some cash to spend on this, then actually make an ultra exclusive collection of t-shirts that nobody can buy. You can only get them by receiving one of these PR packages. But if you just want to stick to a $0 budget, take 5 items from the run of products that you'll be doing anyway and just give them. Post number 5, the educational carousel. This is one of the easiest ways to provide value through your content and therefore build trust with a loyal audience, especially if your brand is about mental health, self-improvements, or sports. And to show you how this works, take a look at this carousel from the brand Pyra. And so this is a technical wear brand that's all about exploring the outdoors. And so they created this post to educate their audience on the benefits of going outside. Okay, and so here they say a study found that a 4-day hike with no access to phones or other technology increased participants' creativity by 50%. Hey, the more you know. And to make one of these yourself, all you're gonna need to do is figure out how you want to transform your customers' lives. As in, how is your customer different after experiencing your brand and being a part of your community? Are they going from lazy to exploring the outdoors? Or maybe from an average football player to a pro-level athlete? Whatever your transformation is, your educational carousel is the how to achieve their aspirational identity. And so I think about a brand like Nike, where their customers aspire to reach the level of someone like Michael Jordan. Well, an educational post for them would be how to hit a 3-pointer every time. Pick an A point, then the B point, and the bridge in between those two is your educational post. Number 6, the multimedia carousel. So this next one isn't even from a clothing brand, but we're gonna steal it anyway and bring something fresh into the fashion industry. You can have that one for free. And the post is actually from Instagram themselves, so check it out. They post this carousel series where they feature someone from the community who uses the Instagram app to tell their story. And so it's basically a version of a vlog post. And so this one is for a guy named Miles with a portrait for slide 1, and the next slide is Miles doing his thing and playing football. And in the case that you were to make one of these multimedia carousels for your own brand, the only difference is featuring the people that wear your products, and you're still telling their story. This is a great opportunity to develop the brand world in which your products exist and create a perception of something cool that we want to be a part of. But I think the greatest thing about this type of post is that Instagram is actually creating with Miles and everyone that they do this series with. So it shows on both accounts. And if you do this too, it'll serve you in 2 different ways. First of all, your brand will appear more authentic and down to earth because you're actually connecting with the real customers that buy your products. But secondly, it'll just open your brand up to new audiences because collaboration posts allow you to express yourself to the subject's audience. Post number 7, behind the product videos. This is one to save for the next time you're releasing a product and are trying to convert customers into buyers. And before I show you what this video is, just know you're gonna love it because you can create this in one afternoon even without the help of friends or models.
This is a sample of one of our latest designs. So how do we go from no ideas and a creative block to this? I love football and I always have since I was a kid. The storylines, the underdogs and the drama all combined with the skill on the pitch makes it the beautiful game. The idea crossed my mind to use the same watercolor technique of the jazz band t-shirt to capture the sport. So the process then looks like figuring out what to actually include. I wanted iconic elements like Pele celebrating the World Cup final, or this famous image of Maradona versus 6 Belgian players. This is a closer look at the final design along with how it fits. This is just a sample though, so let me know what you think.
So this is basically a 90-second video where you talk about the story or process behind the product you're selling. How did you come up with the design? What went well and what didn't go so well leading up to launch? Or why is this design so important to you? And all this video is two main elements. Number one, a shot of you talking to camera. And number two, images or videos of what you're talking about to keep it interesting. And it's one of those videos that's so simple and effective that it's silly not to repeat every single time you release a new product. But I want you to notice one thing the brand owner says at the end.
This is just a sample though, so let me know what you think.
Did you get that? He said, this is just a sample, so let us know. So basically they haven't even launched or decided on this product yet. And that reveals the second benefit to a video like this: cheap product testing. If you have a fashion idea and want to test it without spending thousands on a bulk order, you can create one of these videos to explain the product to your audience and see what they think. Then, judging by the response in the comments, either release or don't release. Or if the response is really strong, you might order more units than you usually do. But this is the approach that I wish more brands would take, because they would truly save thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Post number 8, beliefs and values video. Most brands on Black Friday will provide the best discounts, sell the most units, and lean into the consumerism of it all. That wasn't going to work for the brand I'm about to show you, and they turned Black Friday into an opportunity to share their beliefs and values with the world. Now, before I show you how to personalize this concept for your own brand, why does this work? Well, let me make it really simple. Customers don't buy what you make, they buy why you make it. And the key differentiation between two companies that sell the same thing is their why. When you're in such an overcrowded space as fashion, it's more important than ever to consider the purpose behind your product, and to share that with the world effectively is something so authentic that your customers will appreciate. Just look at this: 531,000 views on an account that averages no more than 30,000. That's like a 20x outlier. But how do you make one of these beliefs and values videos for your own brand? Well, you really need to figure out what's important to you. And a great question to ask to uncover this is, if you had to pick a charity to give a percentage of profits to, which would you choose? That'll lead you to finding a cause that's on brand. For example, if you picked World Vision, then maybe your value is giving everyone an equal chance. Or if you would have chosen WWF, maybe it's sustainability. All you're doing here is reverse engineering your values and purpose as a brand. Then just make a video where you talk about it, but don't just talk about it because that looks a little snobby. Actually demonstrate what you're doing about it. And the chances are, if you really do care about that value, you will already be doing something to contribute. It's not really about being the top donor of a great cause. It's more the simple daily actions you're taking to express your values through the brand. Post number 9, mission in action post. This is similar to the last one, but a little more specific, so check it out. I've spoken to a lot of mission focused brands that support particular causes with a percentage of their profits, but they never actually talk about it. And I love it in one sense because it shows a selflessness and genuine concern for the issue. But the truth is, just by talking about it, you'll probably convert more buyers, which means you earn more money to do more good with. And that's exactly what the brand Broken Planet has done. They've created this carousel where they share how they made a $100,000 donation to restore coral reefs in the Bahamas. And so here is the story about how this all came about. And then the following slides unpack the issue a little more, showing news reports, educating people on what healthy versus bleached coral looks like, and sharing images from their efforts. So if you're not already supporting a non-profit organization, this is a great way to make your clothing brand a vessel for real good in the world. And if you are, here are a few things to include in your post. First, be upfront about how much you give to these charities, whether it be a specific dollar amount or a percentage. Your supporters want to know what they are supporting. Then unpack the issue a little more. Share articles, news reports, images of the damage that you're helping fix. People won't respond unless they realize it is in fact an issue. And then finally, storytelling is key here. Speak with the people behind the charity or victims of whatever the issue is. Put them in your products and it positions your brand as a name known for doing good. Because at the end of the day, what is the purpose of making profit and being blessed other than to be a blessing to those less fortunate? Post number 10, the founder interview. Lots of clothing labels accidentally turn their Instagram page into a personal brand, which I'm not a fan of, because your brand should be the face of the community, not of the founder. But this brand discovered discovered a workaround by creating a series where they interview the founder. And it's as if he appears for a limited time, but the page isn't only his face. So this next video is perfect for anyone that wants to build their personal brand alongside their business.
So I originally grew up in New Zealand as a semi-professional skier, and I spent a lot of time being active and out in the mountains, so I really kind of had a good idea of what technical apparel was. I'd also been a streetwear designer in Australia for the last 15 years and really kind of saw a gap in the market between streetwear and, you know, outdoors brands. You've got like the old outdoors brands like the North Face or Patagonia, Arc'teryx, but then you've also got these, you know, the streetwear brands, the Palace Supreme. I try and use recycled fabrics.
It's content like this that deepens the connection between the audience and the brand, because instead of being shut out, they're taken behind the scenes. And if you want to create one of these founder interviews for yourself, here's exactly how I'd do it. The key to this style of video is to be looking busy as a founder while someone behind the camera is following you around and asking questions. So pick a day in your calendar that you have some hands-on work planned, not sitting at your laptop, but on set for your next shoot or packaging orders. Highly visual work looks best for this. Then go through your contact list and ask your friends if anyone would be willing to follow you around and interview you for a day. Now, this is where a lot of brands get it wrong, because they'll get their friend or camera person to ask the questions, but they usually don't know what to ask. So to make it easy, I've just written out some for you based on the founder videos from before. Starting with number 1, what inspired you to start the brand? 2, what difference are you making in the fashion industry? And 3, what future products are you excited about? Have a think about what your answers are, send those questions to your interviewer or camera person, then have them ask you throughout the day. And if you want to really capitalize on your efforts, here's how you can turn one video into 3. Or you just break it up. Each question could be one video in your founder interview series, and then you get more bang for your buck. There's 3 videos to release over 3 different weeks. Post 11 is fashion portfolio. So imagine you're studying fashion in school and the teacher sets a project. You must design a piece of clothing and keep a portfolio of the process, your research findings, bad prototypes, and annotate each image. Well, that's exactly what this next brand has done, and they turned it into a carousel that you can post to. So scrolling through this, they take us through the process of creating this piece, from cutting the fabrics to adding pins and sewing, and then we can see it in an outfit or two before revealing the final product, which is really cool and unique, by the way. Simply showing us the process adds so much value to an already great product, even if it's really simple. The point is, there wasn't no work that went into the design. And so next time you're creating a product, make sure you take photos throughout the whole process in all stages. Then just upload them onto an iPad or a program like Canva, and then hand annotate headlines and arrows to give context to the image, because the hand-drawn look makes it feel like there was a little more care that went into making it. It's made with love. And now you have 11 new content ideas you can start posting today. But quick question, did you know that there was a way to predict whether your clothing drop is gonna sell out or not? Well, there is, and I made a video showing you the exact system my clients use to increase their revenue by 66% on the very next drop. So click the video on screen now so you aren't left with dead stock collecting dust.